Parathas. We want parathas. Well, I want them anyway, and I want to learn how to make them. Coming up next on Cooking from the Big Red Book. Hi, I'm John. Welcome to my kitchen, and welcome to Cooking from the Big Red Book, where I will be cooking selected recipes from Charmaine Solomon's legendary The Complete Asian Cookbook. Today I wanted to make paratha bread, which are, as described by Charmaine, flaky wholemeal breads which are cooked in ghee. Doesn't that sound great? I've had them before and I found them to be delicious and indulgent, and I want to see if I can replicate that great taste. So let's make them. We're on the road to parathas. First I gotta move the book, clear some space in my small kitchen. So Charmaine says that her recipe will make 12 to 14 parathas, but I really don't need that many today, so I'm going to cut the recipe in half, which means I have to do math, and just bear with me. So let's give me the big bowl first, and the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of wholemeal flour, 1.5 cups of plain flour or roti flour. I have the atta flour that I use for chapatis, and I have learned that that is almost interchangeable with wholemeal flour that Charmaine references. And of course I have good old-fashioned all-purpose flour. So to cut the recipe in half, from 1.5 cups comes out to 3/4 of a cup. So I don't have a 3/4 of a cup measure, so I will have to use 1/2 and 1/4. Right? So first I'm going to measure the all-purpose flour. I'm going to fluff it up a little bit in the bag, and that's 1/2, and then 1/4. That'll give us 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. And then for the atta flour, fluff that up a little bit. Again, it'll be that's a little more than 1/2 cup and 1/4 cup, which will make 3/4 of a cup. She says sift the I didn't sift it. Let's just sift it with our fingers. Sift the wholemeal flour, plain flour, and salt. She says 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Well, I'm splitting the recipe in half, so that's going to be 3/4 of a teaspoon, a little less than a teaspoon. But I do like a little flavor, so I don't mind that. And rub in 1 tablespoon of the ghee. So we're using melted ghee, so I already prepared it in the microwave. She actually had us prepare 120 to 160 grams of melted ghee. We're going to use the ghee later for the coating of the parathas and also for frying them. But right now she says 1 tablespoon. So since I'm splitting the recipe, it will be 1/2 tablespoon. Okay. And then she says add 1 cup of water and mix to a firm but not stiff dough. And again, we're splitting the recipe, so that's 1/2 of a cup of water. And mix to a firm but not stiff dough. Continue kneading for at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes. The more it is kneaded, the lighter the parathas will be. Form the dough into a ball, cover, and rest for at least 1 hour. 1 hour? No, I thought I was going to be eating soon. Okay, so clean hands. I'm going to work the water and the ghee into the flour. Get it all distributed in here. And try not to make too much of a mess on my blue shirt. It's already coming together. So I can see that this is very, very easily going to just turn into a ball. It's good. So far, so good. So we're kneading, and we're kneading, and we'll knead for 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a longer time than you think when you're waiting for it to pass. All right. Let's been 10 minutes and it really felt like it. So she says, form the dough into a ball, cover, and let rest for 1 hour. In it goes. Use some cling wrap here. Cover it. That should be good enough. She doesn't say in the refrigerator, so I'm going to leave it covered at room temperature for 1 hour. See you in an hour. And we're back. If you think that I took a nap during that 1 hour, you're right, I did. So now we're going to get to the fun part of rolling them out. So let's move my big red book and let's see how the dough looks here. It's been an hour. Resting. Well, you know, it didn't rise or anything. It just rested. But it does feel a little bit moister. See, it actually looks even, almost looks steamy. Okay, so Charmaine says, divide the dough into 12 to 14 equal portions and roll to make smooth balls. Remember, I cut the recipe in half, so I'm not going to get 12 to 14. I'm going to get probably 6 or 7. So let's split the dough in half. It's 2 pieces. And then we'll split each piece into 3 pieces. And I think that's going to give us 6 Parathas. Right, I'll put them over here. She says, roll to make smooth balls. Roll out each ball onto a lightly floured work surface to make a very thin circular shape. Okay, so I'm going to move the book here. Sanitized, so no worries about that. And I'm going to lightly flour it. She didn't say which flour to use, so I'm going to use the atta flour because no reason. Just going to use the atta flour instead. And we'll also put a little flour on the pin so we don't get a sticky situation. So roll into a ball, roll into a circular shape. So I'm going to make a disc, I guess, first. Roll it out, turn it, roll it out, turn it. This is about right. All right. I'm not rolling. Okay. She says to put 2 spoonfuls of the ghee in the center. And actually, she says spread it with your hands. Okay. I don't mind that. Get it all to the edges. And then she says to take a knife and cut it from the center to the outer edge. And then she says to start rolling it tightly into like a cone. I see. I gotcha, Charmaine. And then she says, take the apex of the cone and the top of the cone and squash them together so that they nearly meet. And then roll it out again. And I wonder if I could do it with a little more flour. But she says, be careful not to break all the air. So I don't know how you do that with a rolling pin, because by its very nature it's going to roll everything flat. So I'm going to try to retain the air in the edges but still try to get some flatness. So traditionally they would use a tawa, but I don't have one. So I have a comal, which is used in Mexican cooking to make tortillas, and it might be a little thin. So I'm not exactly sure how it's going to conduct heat, but it's what I have. And if this doesn't work, I could always try a skillet. So I'll use maybe a spoonful, maybe 2 spoonfuls. Guess that should have been hotter, but you know what I mean. And then she says, spoon some of the ghee. So while that's cooking there, make another one. Okay, and she says cook to the golden brown on both sides. Let's see if we're golden brown. Yeah, that's golden brown. Golden brown on both sides. So just let that cook for a minute more. So after all that cooking, we get to eat. Some of these look better than others. I'm going to try this one because this one seems to have the swirls, and I think this one's going to be flaky. I have a little bit of dal here, some lentil stew, and I thought, oh, whoa, look at this flakiness. Wow, wow. All right, I feel better. I feel better. Mmm. Oh, yeah, nailed it. I think they're pretty good. They're flaky and they're buttery, and they're the perfect vehicle for scooping up the dal. Well, I wanted parathas and I got them. Tune in again. Thanks for coming.